Hello everybody, sorry I also have to speak only English. Hopefully my image will help to see what I'm talking also about. Just a few words about our group and company structure. INglass is a group made of two different branches. One is for hot runner business and one for tooling business. The first with the name HRS and the second one with the name Hermo, which covers all the market segments. Totally, we are more than 1,000 employees with the turnover for last year of 138 million euro. And what is really peculiar in our company is the fact that the percentage of engineers and advanced analysis and design is the highest, more than 50%. Another important point are the patent families that we filed since 2001, which is part of our richness. 6 production plants and 51 sales and service branches and offices worldwide, including, of course, Turkey. Coming so to this market about the single-serving capsule, for sure is a market where the demand is really increasing. If we think that just the Nespresso sales history makes that it is 10 times more than what it was in 2000. And more information and the press release and also conferences are coming on this business. But why this? Actually, everything I would say starts from this point. Were very few pioneers that gave a lead to this new market segment. We remind companies like, of course, Nespresso, but also Keurig and Lavazza. But just in 2012, the patents were expired, and from that moment on, new players came on the market. But despite of this, it's just 5 years that this happens, and we are at 78% of proprietary brand, while only 22% of compatible. This, as you can imagine, is a tremendous possibility of growth for the future. Plastic absolutely is overboosting in this single-serving capsule market. If you see in this image here, you have that 73% is in plastic, while 27% is in metal. And of course, metal is largely due to Nespresso coffee capsule. But in this total, we have 48 billion of capsules which are filled globally per year, whereas 35 billion in plastic. And it is, I think, this image here that can make you understand better how is the market still at the beginning. Because the main market of the single-serving capsule right now is in Europe, where we have 60%. And 38% in the Americas, but we are just at 2% totally in the Middle East and Asia. A tremendous possibility of growth. But this growth, if we think right now, it has been mainly in the coffees. And just already today, when we think about all the coffee used to fill up all this capsule, we could fill up 2.6 times the Empire State Building of New York. So absolutely this is a nice market, but still at the beginning for the sustainability, which is so important, as we have heard this morning as well during the other panel. But when we talk about coffee capsule again, we do not talk only about coffees, because there are many other applications that are just started on the market, like I just show you some baby formula, so you have a right milk for the baby according to the right process, infusion tea, but one also that probably some of you have seen is even the Coca-Cola is now sold in capsule for US. This means that you can even have a 1.5 liters of Coke or any other carbonated soft drinks by using a machine exactly like the one you use at home for coffee. This is also going on with soup, with cocktail, with tortilla, and the idea is to use this also for products like meat, complete meal. But coming back to our discussion panel, plastics are permeable. So what happens? Oxygen, odors, water can get into, and so in the same way aroma can get out. So the material selection of the plastic material selection is absolutely critical, and even more new materials are coming on the market which are challenging for the injection process. For instance, today in this market, the polypropylene is the one still of the main resin used. Why this? Because of the easy processing, and I would say also the expertise that has been already acquired in this, good water vapor, that is, I would say, better for powder, but not for ready meal, and the compatibility with the InMold labeling and coating to enhance the oxygen barrier. That makes the product to last longer. One other product, resin, which is also starting to come, but this makes the difference in the difficulty to inject, is the PET. Because PET is an attractive material which is accepted by the consumer, an easy recycle change, and is for sure better in oxygen barrier than PP, but it should be used in PET bottle grade. That is around the intrinsic viscosity 0.82. Then we have new materials coming up, and this is the key game now. Because PLA, so biosourced material, PBT with higher barrier, but not so much biosourced, PEF, and more to come. And we have also to cope with the drivers, which are the sustainability and the performance, that is, again, the barrier. So the current challenge is really how to process them. And so how to assure the best quality and ready-to-market single-serving capsule made of this challenging new technical resin, but at the shortest time. This is actually comes a solution and an answer from our expertise that is being joined with the PTI Swiss company, which has a long experience in PET, absolutely. So we have joined our expertise, which is in plastic rheology, hot runner design, mold design, SLM conformal cooling technology, with the main expertise of PTI, which is in market knowledge, of course, packaging design, plastic processing, and the barrier expertise. Because what we have done together, the result of our cooperation is that we have built and designed a pilot cavity mold with a modular design for any customer adaptation. And also, of course, a hot runner, which is dedicated to the resin that the customer wants to inject. The possibility also to use different versions into the machine, injection machine, and so to convert very easily. In this way, you don't need to stop your production. You can have already your design and your development done by experts outside without a big investment. The shape that we have chosen is an intermediate size among all the single-serving capsules which are right now on the market. And also the section of the part has different sizes according to the material injected. For instance, we talk about polypropylene. We have a thickness of 0.5 here and 0.4 on the side, while for technical material like PET, PLA, PBT, we are using a thickness of 0.7 and 0.6 on the side. And of course, any other material that which is on development can be tested here. This mold is a versatility for any test layout, but not only for testing resin, but also for testing InMold labeling and plasma coating. I open here a small parenthesis talking about this because actually why IML? Because there is InMold labeling now, which is also functional, which has oxygen barrier in it. So in this way, you can have decoration and functionality in one step only. The point is that the in-mold labeling, which are now on the market, are still in polypropylene with AVOH film in it, but new sustainable are going to be developed. Another very interesting application and technology is the plasma coating. In this case, you have the base, which can be polypropylene or even an eco-based material like PLA, and then you just deposit a few microns of silica glass over, and this means that the part is absolutely recyclable and compostable, both industrial and also home compostable. This is probably right now the best solution in terms of to extend the shelf life to avoid the clumping when there is a water barrier. But also another important point that has the plasma that no other technology has is the fact to avoid completely the migration of flavor substances and essential oil, and even to have the food to take the taste of a plastic. Coming back so to, let's say, our expertise, I would like to focus on two main ones we have in this market where we could really do the difference to the customer. If you see, so plastic rheology, so finite element analysis, and the SLM conformal cooling technology. What it could be also called like 3D steel printing. Talking about the plastic rheology, with our finite element analysis, we can evaluate really with accuracy already the displacement and so the break force which is required by the component according to the resin that is going to be used in production. I make an example just here. You see here on the left side, you have the displacement of using a kind of polypropylene. While on the right side you have the displacement that you are having with the PBT resin at the comparison of the force applied of 90 Newton. This means that you can absolutely drastically reduce the cost and time impact to your project if you are thinking to get into this new market. Another technology that we have internally as our proprietary is the conformal cooling by 3D laser steel printing. Many of you probably knows already, but the mold cooling phase means 70–65% of entire cycle time, and it affects also in a large part the quality of the result. So we in our company we can provide. Oh, sorry. We can provide both any kind of different of these inserts, and just very briefly show you how this works. You have a base which comes out from the tool making directly. It is directly put into the machine, and then it starts the SLM 3D printing process. In this particular case, it was used for this application, which is a tab where the sealing has to be very tightened because a liquid is passing by. And so we had to come here to the cooling at just 2.5 millimeters from the molding surface, and also the cooling channels could not be so big because of the size available. So we made here cooling channel of 2.0 millimeter of diameter. So the result is, of course, a part that can keep a very the best cooling condition, even if the space is so reduced. Our experience in SLM application is in all different fields of plastic, from the automotive to the personal care to the medical as well. Coming back to this application in particular, we see that specifically the mold I showed you before, we designed the SLM technology both for the cooling nozzle bushing, for the cavity, and for the core insert. This why? Because the important is to have absolutely a very good conform and even temperature that you could not reach without having the cooling bushing close to the nozzle. You got even 25% degrees less and also very nice uniform cooling. That absolutely is very, very helpful when you talk about materials such as crystal clear PET. More than, of course, the results that you're having in the injection of PET, even at very low thickness like 0.6, 0.7, is also the fact of reducing the cycle time around 30% than traditional. Final, an example of a latest coffee capsule in the PBT material. In this case, we built for the customer a tailor-made solution where, because the injection point wants to be in the pot. In this case, we put all the cooling circuits just around the nozzle inside the pot, and in this way we were able to inject a system of 32 cavities for a coffee capsule in PBT, also by using our mixing melt technology, where we use also the conformal cooling section into the channels of the hot runner. This is, for instance, another application that you can also combine to the previous one with the conformal cooling, and is the fact of using the injection compression to reduce the thickness of the part just in the area where it is required. You see injection and then it is compressed. This absolutely helps during the braking force needed by the coffee machine or any different single serving machine that is on the market or which is going to be in the future. So finally, I would say we have an expertise on all this kind of application, not only for coffee but also for products and single serving that are going to change the way how the meals are served. And in fact, one also of the latest largest part that we have developed is the use of having a larger application that can be a single serving caps or even a cap, which has an area where the thickness is really very thin, up to 0.15 millimeters. This, of course, can have an application in any field. Is a patent pending solution, and actually this more detailed of this will be shown during the next thin wall packaging conference in Germany, in Cologne, by AMI. So this is actually everything I could explain today, and I am available, of course, for questions. Thank you for your attention.